Well, I got one visitor, it appears. 6 now. I'm having a, what do you call it, a Starbucks ham and
Well, I
egg
got one
sandwich.
visitor, it appears. 6 now.
I'm having a, what do you call it, a Starbucks. There. I got the sound turned down on my computer. Seems strange. I want to talk to you right there, but I got to look over here to find the comments. So Jeffrey's on off. I got comments, not video of some water, rid of my pee, and I get rid of my garbage. So now I came up to Starbucks beside the laundromat. I'm not going to do my 2 nights a day, but I found a parking spot beside Starbucks, and I think it's fast enough to do one of these live streams. You guys should tell me if it's fast enough. In the meantime, I'm going to eat this till I see more comments. So in my movie, Gus, somebody's telling me that when I come visit them, drop by or something, or contact them, you know, sadly, I can't ever remember. Like, people say that to me all the time, but imagine, how am I going to keep track of that stuff? So, in the future, I'll probably tell people in advance where I'm going, but it's much the same as mountain or whatever. And contact me when you're coming by. Well, that would make me have to look after 1,000 people, because 1,000 people tell me to contact them when I'm coming by. But I don't know how I'm going to keep track of that. No comments. And the buffering on my computer is real slow. Maybe if I refresh the page, maybe then it won't be able to be buffering less. It says it's 8, 7. It's going up and down, 8 and 7. Some people come in and go, oh, that guy's ugly, I'm not going to watch that. Yeah, no more comments. I can comment. I'm just doing a speed test. So this download is 8 meg. I don't know. The speed is crazy. I'm doing a speed test while I'm doing this, and the upload speed is between 16, it shows me 12 megabits per second, but megabytes per second, and the upload is 9.9 megabytes per second. I don't know if that's fast enough, but the problem is it's intermittent. By the time I get connected here and then try and get connected to see the comments, oh well, that's life. That's the way it works. Now I'm down to 1, 2 people watching. Jeffrey Ingman says lunchtime in Vancouver. Maybe everyone hogging the internet. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. You know, it's just a busy time on the internet, maybe at lunchtime. Anyway, I got here. I was going to be, I wanted to do a live stream, but first I had to upload my video from this morning, which was, I think I mentioned it earlier, but if you're new, the video this morning was about my my morning drinking coffee, getting water, making coffee, where I put my pee, and where I get my water, and sitting on the beach drinking coffee. Plus a huge, beautiful sunset from the night before. That was an interesting time lapse, but I find it disappointing what the iPhone does when it's shooting time lapse. Hey there from near Cologne in Germany. Michael Massab. I have to tell you that like Cologne in North America is a perfume. So when I first read it, I thought we were talking about a perfume in Germany. I realized this is a city named Cologne, but that wasn't my first inclination. Ruby Van Size. Van Size is an interesting name. Did I sleep on the beach? No, I actually never sleep on the beach. The signs say that there is no place on the beach that you can sleep without breaking the law. So I just drive a few blocks away and park there. So, you know, I'm 2 blocks away. When I wake up in the morning, I start up my bus, drive down to the beach, and there I am. It's like I'm a few blocks away, but there's no point in getting tickets or even causing the parks rangers to come around and ticket others. I mean, people, the issues are when people park in against the bylaws in large numbers, then the bylaw enforcement officers have to come around and give away tickets. So the more people who sit in those spots, kind of breaking the rule because it's not enforced heavily, those people cause the park rangers to have a job to do because the public complains, and then the park rangers have to go out and deal with the complaint. So I don't park where other people park. I simply, you know, it might sound kind of dumb, but when I see apps on the internet, an app to show people where to park, I go somewhere else. Okay, seems we're back. Anyway, I was talking about parking at the beach. I don't park where it says no parking because that will cause, even if they don't enforce it that night, I might not get a ticket, but the more people who break that rule will cause the bylaw enforcement officer to come around and start to enforce it, which means that the parking location that everybody congregates to is going to be destroyed by the people who are not considerate and don't understand how things work. So I try to avoid most of it. Like if there's an app and it says you can park here, I won't go there. I'll go someplace else because there's almost always a prettier spot. What they actually do is the apps and the places people park, they actually choose shitty spots to park. Like the app will show you, oh, you can park behind this cement plant in the woods somewhere where you can hide out. Well, I don't want to do that. I'll just park where I feel comfortable. And so I never use the app. In fact, I don't even have the apps on my phone. And the last thing I would do is recommend an app to other people, because a congregation of van dwellers that are, how would you put it, so unimaginative that they have to follow the crowd. They have to go and find spots that are being recommended to them. That should only happen in an absolute emergency. Otherwise, everybody should find their own spot so that we don't cause the communities to be upset with us. Anyway, so what do we got for comments here? Michael Mayak. I so would, and Vancouver would be the first place I'd visit in Canada. Well, Vancouver's the prettiest, there's no doubt whatsoever. Vancouver's the prettiest place in Canada. And because we've got a beautiful, well, I shouldn't say that. There may be some East Coast places, but between from Toronto, which is on the Great Lakes, that area will be very pretty, but from Toronto to Vancouver is just big prairie. So it's all flat land growing wheat and other kinds of grain. Um, so Ruth, you're going to be starting out pretty soon. Have you got a van now, or are you planning to buy one, or what's the plan, and when's the date? When are you starting? I always ask people that because, you know, there's so many people that keep telling me they're going to do it soon. I don't know why they don't do it today. But everybody's got a reason, right? I would recommend it to anybody that's in my situation that has enough income to live, but not enough income to live well. And the reason I recommended that is that certainly for the cost of your rent, you could live in a van or a bus like I do and travel around. So you can enhance your life because you are able to travel and visit different places. And perhaps, like I plan, is to stay in warm spots all the time. So I don't have to deal with uncomfortable weather, and I can just pull my chair out and sit in the sun and have a coffee in the morning. Ah, so Ruth's going to be selling her condo. Why are you doing that? Is it not possible to rent it and that rent income help enable a better life on the road? Well, now the upload speed is 9.5 megabytes per second, and you'd think that'd be fast enough to have me not be buffering like this, not be having to reconnect so constantly. Ah, okay, so yeah, Ruth, if you can't rent it out, if you can't turn it into income, that is going, in other words, if you can't rent it out for more, like easily, and for more than your mortgage payment, then yeah, get rid of it, unless it's, if it's like a piece of property in Vancouver, which is going. Well, crap. My computer's telling me the upload speed is 20 megabytes per second. But it's obviously very intermittent because it keeps canceling me and cutting me off in the middle of sentences. I'm going to have to say goodbye because I'm beyond frustrated. I've already probably reconnected about 10 times in about a half an hour, which means that it's not going to be working, right? So what I have to do is I'm going to keep talking until, or keep hanging out here until I have to reconnect the next time. Then I'm gone. Anybody got any questions about bus life or about the things that, how would I put it, about what is different about being in a bus versus owning a home or renting a condo, etc.? Michael, a Sprinter is incredibly expensive, and although a lot of people might dream about it, I wouldn't think about a Sprinter ever. There are so many other alternatives. The Sprinter's just oh, how can I look good to my friends and family? How can I, it's like buying a Ferrari. What use is it? I mean, what use is the Ferrari other than to tell all your buddies, I mean, have a good time driving, they'd be fun to drive. But what good is it other than like picking up girls or something? Or pretending, you know, like I've got lots of money. I'm getting a battery. My phone is dying, the battery's dying, so I'm getting a new battery to put on there. The batteries in an iPhone are pretty useless in terms of keeping the phone active when it's running video and stuff like that. So I have a whole bunch of these little guys that I charge up, and whenever the phone tells me I've got no power, I just plug that in, and so I can read 24 hours a day without the phone dying. Yeah, Michael, I have not, you know what, I don't know what to say about the people that are in sprinters. Some of them think that that's lose as much money. Well, I've got an old bus. It cost me basically 5,000 is what they cost, and when I go to sell it, even in 5 years, it's still going to be worth 5,000. If I bought a Sprinter, I would. Yeah, Ruth, when you're buying a vehicle, think about what it's going to be worth after you're finished. You decide not to be in it anymore. My bus is 5,000 bucks. It'll be worth $5,000 when I'm done. Motorhomes deteriorate or drop in value perhaps a little quicker. It depends on what kind of condition they're in. But I can't possibly lose any money with this unless I have to buy a new motor, but a new motor is worth more than a new bus. So I would just park it on the side of the road, take it to an auto wrecker, and buy a new bus before I would buy a new motor. Whereas a motorhome, you may end up with a whole lot of other difficulties with it. So I don't know, everybody's got their own needs, but I would keep the costs down and actually spend the money on maintenance rather than buy a expensive or close to new motorhome that is going to drop in price a whole bunch of money over the years that I use it. And that's just because I try to be practical financially. And I've got no money. I'm just living off the retirement, which is in American dollars isn't very much. So who else is talking here? Yeah, Ruth, you're going to find a minivan is okay. I know lots of people. I know a man in his 80s that lives in a minivan. I don't know how he can handle not standing up, but people do it. And if you're not going to stand up, it doesn't matter how mini it is. As long as you can crawl in it and get changed in it and stuff like that. It doesn't matter how small it is. Once you get to, like, even a regular van is perhaps a little bit higher and maybe a little more spacious, but you still can't stand in it. So until it gets to standing height, you're kind of always living in more or less the same environment. And you know, if your minivan can be traded in for a motorhome, that'd be a good idea. Standing up is gonna. I'm 69. If I'm bent over all the time, then I will have a bad back really quickly. Anyway, there's only a few people on. There's 5 people on. I've been here for a while. My meter's going to run out, and the service here at Starbucks is absolutely disgustingly bad. I mean, it's good now, you know, for the moment, but it's going to just cut me off again in a second. So without that continuity of being able to stay live, I don't want to be on here too long. So we're going to say goodbye. Bye, guys. I don't know how to go. Oh, there's the button. Makes me laugh when you click the button. It says, "Are you sure you want to stop streaming?" Yeah, I'm sure. That's why I pushed the button, for Christ's sake.